Hello, everybody. I'm Keith Jones. I'm here to say I think I'm live on YouTube. And I want to say happy Juneteenth to everybody. Hopefully, everybody's out there being safe and having a great time. Juneteenth, for those who have been under a rock for a couple years, is the celebration of the last part, I should say, for Texas. Texas was not informed about the freedom. The slaves were freed, and you know who took advantage of that. Got as much work as they could from us, out of us, for those that period of time. But once we understood that we were free, Juneteenth is I guess that's the date, the time that we all knew that we were supposedly free, so-called free. Excuse me. And I say so-called free because what we still dealing with right now. But so happy Juneteenth, everybody. I want to share some more thoughts. My first is now that our people are celebrating Juneteenth, we need to drop the 4th of July. Drop it like a hot potato. Drop it like a rock. Drop it like it's hot. And don't pick it back up again. The 4th of July, 1776, had nothing to do with our independence. That was the Europeans who lived on this continent of the United States celebrating their separation of so-called freedom from England. 4th of July, 1776, the slave trade was at its all-time high. The rape, kidnapping, murder, the destruction of African families to bring them here, bring them to the West Indies, and all those other places that they brought us to work for free as slaves. 7 February, July, June, excuse me, July 4th, 1776 had nothing to do with our freedom. Nothing. Why do black people celebrate the 4th of July? I can't figure it out. I have no idea. And I do have an idea. It's because we don't know. So I'm trying to, I don't know how many of you are watching this. I'm on live. Hopefully somebody's, flipping channels or scrolling, whatever you want to call it, and catch this and say, wow, this cat knows what he's talking about. And I do know what I'm talking about because I'm going to share something with you. Frederick Douglass. Hopefully some of you are familiar with Frederick Douglass. He was asked to do a speech to a crowd back in the 1800s regarding the 4th of July. And in so many words, so many ways, he refused to address the crowd they wanted him, the way they wanted him to address the crowd. And I say so many words, so many ways, because he did address this crowd in a manner to let them know that the 4th of July had nothing to do with our people. Nothing. Never have and never will. The slave trade in July 4th, 1776 was at its all-time high of brutality, kidnapping, rape, murder, the destruction of African families, bringing them to this continent. It had nothing to do with us. But if you go to the average park in any major city, we're packed in. We're packed there. We got our grills going. We got our fireworks popping. We drinking our beer and barbecuing burgers and dogs, and we spend more money on the 4th of July than they do. Why? Man, I hope some of you guys are listening to this. Why? Help me understand why. The 4th of July, 1776 had nothing to do with our freedom. Nothing. We were still slaves for 100 years more. We didn't gain our so-called freedom to 1864. 100 years later. We ought to be ashamed. Our black people who are celebrating the 4th of July ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Because our ancestors were working for free, barely fed, barely clothed from sun up to sundown. And if you know anything about the heat, I'm here in Georgia. The heat here in Georgia this time of year is almost unbearable. Can you imagine not very little to wear, very little fed, mostly barefoot, working in someone's field for free in July? In Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, all the places the slaves plantations were on this continent. You ought to be ashamed. Brothers and sisters, read a book. You're missing the point. Quit giving away your money on the 4th of July. It had nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with us. What the heck are you thinking about? Why is it such a... That's the 4th of July is the most... It's the widest celebration on this continent. Because it was only for white people. Only. Nothing to do with us. What the heck are y'all thinking about? Please wake up. Wake up. Enjoy the 4th of July. Excuse me. Enjoy Juneteenth. Take full advantage of it. Again, I believe Juneteenth should be from the 13th of June to the 19th of June. For as long as for what we went through for as long as we did, one day is not enough. And black people, educate yourselves. Too many of us prefer to be entertained than educated. That's got to change. We're missing so much information, and there are people watching us who know that if we ever figure this out, they're in trouble. They know. So that's why they rather keep us entertained. If you think about the entertainment, our athletes and our entertainers, our singers, our people who entertain us, some of the best paid people in the world, making more money than doctors and engineers and so on. That is a part of the game plan. If you ask the average young man, especially the young black man, is what I'm saying, and probably some of the young sisters, but everybody wants to be a rapper. If they ain't trying to be a rapper, they trying to be a ball player. And there's nothing wrong. I ain't knocking rappers or ball players, but because our people have been meagerly exposed to success, we think that's all success is about. Again, entertainment versus education. We got to change that. Our kids can be so much more than rappers and ball players, and we can't. And they know that. That's why the evidence is where it is. The evidence is there. Everything that we become a part of, we take over. Everything. Football, basketball. Baseball is starting to do its thing with more so the West Indians, out of the West Indies, where still Cuba and so on are Latino. America, the Latin baseball players, but we as Africans living on the continent of America need to wake up. We need to read some books. We need to educate ourselves. We need to take action and travel to Africa. Check it out. Really check it out. Before you go giving your money to Europe, trying to see the Eiffel Tower and the stuff. Go to Africa first. There's Africa. I have a family member who he said to me, because I told him we looking to travel to Africa and eventually settle there. He goes, man, these people in Africa, they still got flies on their face and they're still living in huts. And I knew then, I'm like, wow, this cat in his 60s hadn't probably ain't never read a book since he left school. He heard what someone told him. He's met 3 or 4 Africans and he thinks everybody acts like that. He said, man, I had a Nigerian cab driver and he was rude, and so a whole continent now is rude. Then he goes, they don't like us there. I'm like, wow, really? They don't like you there? They don't like you here. It ain't they. You talking about going to a continent that's predominantly people look like us versus being on a continent where people predominantly don't look like us. And you're thinking you'd rather accept being not liked here than exploring being loved and welcomed there because someone told you. You've been watching Tarzan movies. Oh man. Well, anyway, I see I'm going on 12 minutes of this, my rant and rave. I see you had some likes and some people watching, and I appreciate you. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. I love sharing, and I'm going to be doing a little more of this, more on the educational side. I'm a real estate entrepreneur, and I'm going to be sharing more of my strategies to. I've been a real estate entrepreneur since 1997, and but I really want to share my skills and my experience. So, but that's going to be another video. I just want to do something inspirational for the holiday of Juneteenth. And thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Make some comments. I'm totally interested in what you have to say. Share it with your friends. If you think I'm wrong, tell me. If you think I'm right, tell me what you think. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks.